Hello everyone, I'm Frank, and welcome to episode 31 of Learn How to Sudoku, where we take very easy variant Sudoku puzzles and we break them down into detail so that you can learn how to Sudoku. And today's very easy puzzle is called Crosshairs by Full Deck and missing a few cards. And here are the rules. Standard Sudoku rules apply. The digits 1 through 9 appear in every row, column, and box. Cages, and these are normally called killer cages. Digits in cages cannot repeat and must sum to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. So, for example, these three digits must add up to 10. And since you cannot have repeats, this does not work, obviously. So you can't have 4, 4, and 2 because digits cannot repeat in cages either. But this could be valid if it's 4, 1, 5, obviously, because then you don't have repeats in this cage, and the three digits add up to 10, which is on the upper left corner of the cage. And this basically is just a killer cage Sudoku, which I've done many of. So hopefully this should go really quickly and it's very clear. Anyways, those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, so we know if you have two digits adding up to 16, the only possibility for two unique digits adding up to 16, and these are all going to be unique because they're all in cages, then it can only be 7 and 9 in those cells, right? Because those are the only digits that are unique, which add up to 16. So this is 7 and 9. How about 12? If you have 12, it could be 3, 9, 4, 8, or 5, 7. But we know 7 and 9 are eliminated because of the 7, 9 pair in column 9, which eliminates 7 and 9 from the rest of the column. Therefore, it cannot be 3 or 9. It cannot be 5 or 7. It must be 4 and 8. Because of that, we know the remaining cells in these cells have to be 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Well, do we want to go down that way? Probably not. Let's not go that way. Another thing I noticed was this three cell cage adds up to 19. This 3 cell cage adds up to 18. Therefore, that means combined they add up to 37. So the remaining 3 digits in that row must add up to 45 minus 37, which is 8. Now, if you have 3 unique digits adding up to 8, it's either 125 or 134. And if you take a look at how this is constructed, similarly in the columns, you have 3 digits adding up to 18 and 3 digits adding up to 19, which again adds up to 37. That means the 3 digits that are not in those cages have to add up to 45 minus 37, which is also 8. So again, it has to be 125 or 134. Well, they both require a 1, which means where is the 1? If the 1 were here, it would not be along this line, so it can't be there. Similarly with all the other places that are not the central cell. So therefore, this has to be a 1, which means it must be with 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the thing is, to add up to 9, you can have at most a 6. Well, we have a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple in box 5, which eliminates 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the rest of the box. So the minimum you could have in the rest of the box is a 6, and therefore it has to go here, because otherwise 7, 8, and 9 don't work with this 9 cage, right? Because you cannot have repeats, remember. So this would have to be 6 specifically with a 1 and a 2. Similarly, what can be in this 10 cage? Well, there's no longer 1 through 6 available, and 7 is the least you can have. Sorry, is the most you can have on a 10 cage. So this has to be the 7 then, which makes this 8 and 9 and 8 and 9. So this has to be 1 and 2 with this. So this can no longer be 2 because of the 1, 2, 1, 2 pair in row 4, which eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the row. This is an 8, 9, 8, 9 pair in row 6, which eliminates 8 and 9 from the rest of the row. So this can't be 9 anymore. This has to be a 7, which forces this to be 9. The 8 and 9 have to be with, if it's a 9, it has to be 1 or 2. If it's an 8, it has to be 1 or 3 with it. Either way, there's a 1 here. So we know one of these is 1. If this is a 9, it has to be specifically 1, 3. If it's an 8, it could be 1, 4 or 2, 3. Either way, we don't know which. Let's see, what else do we know? If this is a 5, what would this be? It would have to specifically be 2 with it to add up to 8, because we know these 3 add up to 8. But there cannot be a 2 here because of the 1, 2 pair that's already in the row. So this can never be 5. This can never be 1, but we already knew that. What else do we know? We know these cells have to be 6, 7, 8, or 9. Right? Because 6 and 9, the only two digits that add up to 6 and 9 have to be, or 15 have to be 6, 9, or 7, 8. So either this could be 6 and that would be 9, or these could be 7 and 8. Well, these two digits have to add up to 14, and there's only 2 pairs of digits that can add up to 14. If you have a 5 and 9, that could work, or if you have a 6 and 8, that could work. But if you have a 6 and 8 here, that eliminates a 6 and 8 from being possibilities here. And therefore, this could never have any possibilities if this were 6 and 8. So this has to be specifically 5 and 9. Which means this can't be 6 and 9. This has to be specifically 7 and 8, because 5 and 9 are eliminated. What are the remaining cells? The remaining cells are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. This can never be 6 because you can't have 2 digits adding up to... you can't have 3 digits adding up to 8 with a 6 because it would just require 1 and 1, which is not possible. So this could be 2, 3, 4, 6. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Again, this can't be 4 because of the 4, 8 pair here. This is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. But if this were 5, this would have to be 1 and 3 specifically, right? And if this is 5 and this is 1 and 3, that 1, 3 pair in column 1, or row 1 would eliminate 1, 3 here. So this would have to be 2 and 4 in these 2 spots. But the problem is 2 and 4, well, how does it add up to 8 with another digit? It would have to be with 2. And therefore, you would have a repeat in that cage, which is not allowed. So this can never be 5, because if this is 5, this would have to be 1, 3. This could be 2, 3, 5, or 6, and this could be 1, 2, 3, 5, or 6. We're not sure exactly. Again, you have 2 digits adding up to 14, so this could be 5, 9, or 6, 8. So the 6 would be here, and this would be 8 if this was 6, 8, because this can't be 6. You again have 6, 7, 8, 9 here. So If this were 6, 9, this would have to be 6, and this would be 9. If this were 7, 8, this would have to be 7, and this would be 8. So this is 8 or 9. We know there's a 1 here. It's either 1, 2, 5, in which case this is 5, or it's 1, 3, and 4. Both of which are possible, right? Where do we continue here? This can no longer have a 7, and 3 can only be with 7 and 9 to add up to 19. So this can never be 3 here. What about 5? 5 specifically has to be with 6 and 8. So this still could be 5, 6, 8. What about 6? 6 would have to be with 4 or 9. Or 5 or 8. So these are all possible then, still. If this is 2, this has to be 8 and 9 specifically with it. If it's 5, that means this adds up to 14 without a 5 being possible, so then this would be 6 and 8. If this is 6, this would add up to 13, so it cannot be 6, 7. It could be 4, 9, or 5 and 8. Either one of those works. So this is still varied as possibilities here. We know none of these can be 1. This can't be 1. Okay, so we have a 1 here in this cage, right? So that eliminates 1 from the rest of the box because we know it has to be either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4 in this cage. So the 1 has to be here. 1 and 2 are eliminated by this 1, 2 pair in box 2, which eliminates 1 and 2 from being there. 1 and 2 are eliminated from this box from being there because this can't be, this is 1, 2 pair in row 4. So this can't be 1 or 2. So there cannot be a 1 at all in this 5 cell adding up to 20. Well, what's the minimum then of 5 cells, unique digits adding up to? It has to be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that adds up to exactly 20. So we know then this must contain 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in this cage. Because we know there's no 1, because this can't be 1 because of the 8 cage here, which requires a 1. And this can't be 1 because of the 1, 2 pair in box 2. And this can't be 1 because of the 1, 2 pair in row 4. But similarly, we know this can't be 2 because of the 1, 2 pair in row 4. And we know this can't be 2 because of the 1, 2 pair in box 2, which eliminates 1 and 2 from those cells. Therefore, where is the 2? The 2 has to be in one of these 3 cells in box 1, which eliminates 2 from this cage in box 1, because the 2 has to be here. So therefore, this can no longer be 1, 2, 5. It must be 1, 3, 4. So this can't be 5. This can't be 2. We know this is specifically 1, 3, 4, which means we have a 1, 3, 4 triple. That means 3 cells requiring specifically 3 digits in box 1. Therefore, in the rest of the box, you cannot have a 1, a 3, or 4 because of that. So this can no longer have a 3 or 4 in these cells. Well, now we have a 2, 5, 6 triplet in this cage of 20. Well, and also in this box. So 2, 5, and 6 cannot be in the rest of the box, and it cannot be in the rest of the cage either, because of how cages work. Therefore, this can't be 5 or 6, this can't be 5 or 6, and this can't be 6. So therefore, this is 7, which forces this to be 8 to add up to 15. This can't be 7, so this must be 8, which makes that a 7. And the last remaining digit in box 9 must be a 9, so this is a 9. This can no longer be 9, so there, because of this 9, so this cannot be 5 then. Well, what do we have remaining? We know this can't be 8, so this has to be a 4, which makes that an 8. This 4 means this can't be 4, so this must be a 3. This 3 and 4 here means this can't be 3 or 4, so this must be 5. What's the remaining digit in row? What's the last remaining cell in row 4? It has to be a 9. So since this is a 9, this can no longer be 9. So this can no longer be a 2, actually. So this is 5 or 6 here. Well, 5 can be with 6 or 8. And 6 has to be with 5 or 8. So therefore, this must be specifically a 5, 6, 8 triplet here. Which means this cannot be 2 and 5. This can't be 2 and 5. And again, this has to add up to 8 here. So this must be a 2. Therefore, this can't be 2 and this can't be 2. This is a 5, 6, 8 triplet here. This can't be 1 or 2. This can't be 2 here. Where is a 2 in box 6? It has to be here. Since this is a 2, this can no longer be 2, so this is 1, which makes that a 2. This can't be 2, so this is 1, which means this can't be 1. This can no longer be 3 or 4 because of the 3-4 pair in column 4. And it can't be 2 because of this 2, so it has to be 1. So this is a 1, which means this cannot be 1, which means this has to be the 1 here. The remaining cells here in row 5, because of the 3-4 pair and the 5-6-8 triplet here, have to be 2, 7, and 9. So this is 2, 7, and 9 specifically. This can't be 3, therefore this is 4. What do these two add up to? 1 and 4 add up to 5. 5 minus 13 is 8, so this has to be an 8, which makes this a 9, and therefore this is 10. 12 minus 10 is equal to 2, so this is a 2. So this is 2, 7, 9. The remaining digits now are 5 and 6. This can't be 5. If this is 5 or 6, the other digit here, adding up to 11, must be 5 or 6. So this is 5 or 6 too. This can't be 7. This can't be 9. Can you ever have a 9 in 11 cage? No, right? Because 9 would have to be with 1 and 1, and that's not unique, again, so that doesn't work. So 9 can never be here. Where's the 9 in column 1? It has to be here. So this is a 9, which means this can't be 9. Well, let's see. This can't be 2 anymore. So we know the 2 has to be here. So this can't be 2. This can't be 2 here. What's the last remaining digit here? It has to be 3. We have a 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in column 2, which eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this can't be 5 or 6, and this must be a 2. This can't be 2. We know one of these two digits is a 2 because there's no other 2 in column 1. So this has to have a 2. This can't be 2, so this is 7, which makes this a 2. This can't be 9 because of this 9, therefore that forces this to be 5, which makes that a 9. This cannot contain 1, 2, 5, or 7. So it has to have a 3 or 4 with it. Right, because otherwise if it didn't, it'd have to be 6, 7, 8. Or 6, 8, 9, which does not add up to 18. So one of 3 or 4 is here. And okay, actually, where are the 8 and 9s in box 2. Can't be here, can't be here, can't be here. So this must be an 8-9 pair. This then has to have a 6. So it's either 6 with 3 or 4. Sorry, 6 with 3 or 9, or 6 with 4 or 8. So this cannot contain a 6. What does this have to have? It has to have a 7 and an 8 or a 9 with the 3 or 4. This can't be 8, so therefore, because of this 8, therefore this must be 9, which forces this to be 5. This can't be 5, so it must be 6, which makes that a 5, which makes that 6, which makes that 5, which makes that 6. So this can't be 6. This can no longer be 9, so it has to have a 7 with it, adding up with... Oh, this can't be 9, therefore this is 8, which forces this to be 9, which forces this to be 3 and 6. So this can't be 3, this has to be 4. This can't be 4. This can no longer have 3 or 9, so it's 4, 7, 8. Specifically, we have a 1, 3, 1, 3 pair in row 2, which eliminates 1 and 3 from the rest of the cells. So therefore, this must be a 5, 7 pair. This can't be 5 specifically because of that 5. This 2 is either with 1, in which case it would have to be with 8. So this would be 1, 2, 8. It could be 3. So 2, 3, 6. But then they would have to have a 6. So therefore it can't be 2 and 3. And then we try 2, 4. It could be 2, 4. But then that would require 5 with it to add up to 11. So this, we know this is specifically 1, 2, and 8. So this is 1, 2, 8. This can't be 1 because of the 1, 2 pair in column 1. So therefore this must be 3. This can't be 1 or 3. So this must be 4. Which makes this a 1. So this cannot be 1 or 4. We know there's a 2 here, and 2 can only be either 6 and 1 or 4 and 3, but 4 can't be any of these cells. So it must be 1, 2, and 6. The 2, 6 pair in row 1 eliminates 2 and 6 from the rest of the row, so this can't be 6, which makes that a 3, which makes that a 6. These can no longer be 1 here. This can't be 8. What are the possibilities here then? It cannot be 1, 9. It cannot be 2, 8. It could be 3, 7, or it could be 4, 6. This specifically can't be 7, so this can't be 3. This can't be 4 because of the 4, 7, 8 triplet in box 8. So this can't be 4, which means this can't be 6. This can't be 4 because of this 4, so this must be 3, which makes this a 4. The remaining cells here are 4 and 9, but this can't be 9 because of that 9, so this is a 4, this is a 9. The remaining cells in these two cells have to be 3 and 7, and they could be either, so this could be 3 or 7. This can no longer be 4. What do we have here? This is 3, 5, or 6, but it can't be 3 or 6, so this must be 5. Therefore, this must be a 3 or 6. Well, again, remember, we can't have repeats in cages, so therefore this can never be a 3. This has to be a 6 then, which makes this a 3, which makes that a 7. This can't be 7, so this is a 4. This can't be 4. This can't be 3 anymore. What are 3 digits adding up to 10? It cannot be 1, 2, 9. It could be 1, 3, 6, so that's a possibility. It could be 1, 4, 5, except that 4 can't be in the cell. Or it could be 2, 3, 5. In which case, this is 2. This would have to be 3 or 5, but that's not possible. So it specifically has to be 1, 6, and 3. This can't be 6 anymore, therefore this is 2, which makes that a 6. Where is the 2 now in the left? This can't be 1, so this is 2, which makes this a 1. Where is the 2 now? Because we should have 8 2s in the grid. Yep, and therefore this must be a 2. This can't be 3, so this is 7, which makes that a 3. This 7 means this can't be 7, so that's an 8. This is 7. This is just all now normal Sudoku. This has to be a 4, because that's the only digit remaining. This can be 5 or 8. This can't be 6, though. This can't be 6, therefore this is a 5, which makes that an 8, which makes that a 6. This can no longer be 8, so this has to be 5, which makes that an 8. This 5 means that can't be 5, so this is 7. That has to be 5. The only remaining digit in this column is a 3, so this is 3, and therefore this is a 4. And that's how you solve it. Yeah, the key is basically, for killer cages, a lot of them is just recognition of what are the most restrictive cages. Mostly the values, right? So it's focusing on like this 16. What does that do to this 12 cage? How did this 14 and 15 cage interact? You could also look at this 18, 19, which limits these cells. So you can also, yeah, you don't have to be stuck with specifically the cages. You could actually also look into what are the remaining digits in like a row, a column, or a box so that you can subtract out cages. And that will also help you in solving killer cage Sudokus in the future. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn How to Sudoku, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.